And in this case, what was happening was we were seeing some global mirrored RPO spikes. Now, replication is pretty tricky. It's one of the harder problems that you face in managing your storage environment, especially asynchronous replication. With the asynchronous replication, the disaster recovery site is by nature always going to be somewhat behind the primary. This is usually acceptable, but if things fall too far behind, the mirror could be suspended, which could be an outage for you. So you have to really keep an eye on things and make sure that if you do have spikes, that they don't get out of control. This case study is going to show you how Intelligent Magic Vision can be used to provide the visibility to the status of global mirror replication in a globally dispersed parallel sysplex environment, or GDPS. Data about the global mirror sessions is recorded in SMF Type 105 records, which Intelligent Magic Vision can analyze. By looking at patterns and drill downs, the root cause of this issue was determined pretty quickly. So here's an example of visibility you can get by using Intelligent Magic Vision into global mirror sessions. We notice in this chart that we're seeing some spikes in the RPO, or recovery point objective, for one of the global mirror sessions. It's only the blue sessions that's really having issues. The other sessions look pretty healthy. So what we were able to do, one of the features of Intelligent Magic Vision, is it can chart things by day of the week. So we charted it by day of the week here, and we found that these spikes are typically happening over time on Sundays. Sunday is when the spikes are typically occurring. So that pattern recognition is something that Intelligent Magic Vision really facilitates. From here we can do some drill downs. We can look at more than just the RPO. We can look at how many out-of-sync tracks we have in the session. And we see that the out-of-sync tracks kind of corresponds to that RPO spikes. So maybe the storage is overloaded. Maybe there's some issue in the infrastructure that is contributing to this out-of-sync track situation. Indeed, we can then drill down further and see, are there any volumes being suspended? And we do see them being suspended on one of the storage systems. Now note that this storage system, or DSS, this storage system, is a Metro Mirror target in a Metro Global Mirror configuration. So it's receiving data from a primary storage system, and then it's sending it remotely off to the Global Mirror target. So that's important to know in this example. So we went further and we looked at two things. We wanted to see how much replication data is coming into this storage box of interest from the primary. And what we see is some pretty hefty spikes. We're seeing spikes, typically, well over 1,100 megabytes per second. So we're seeing pretty high spikes in activity, and in some cases, like here, they're sustained in that 900 to 1,100 megabyte per second range. Then we look at the send. In other words, how much data is this box sending to its global mirror secondary at a remote location? And we only see that throughput up in the 400 megabyte per second range. So there's definitely an imbalance here, and that's explaining why things are getting so far out of sync. You're putting a lot more data into this box than you're able to send out of the box. The issue was found and flagged quickly. The problem was lack of bandwidth. You didn't have enough bandwidth to send the data out of the box as you had capability to send data to the box. So you had an imbalance here. And it was easy to see when the problem occurred and what caused it. And by drilling down, you could find out the specific storage system that's affected and the fact that it was a bandwidth issue. By increasing the provision bandwidth between that storage box and its global mirror target, the problem could be solved and the RPO spikes could be eliminated.